Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video. Thank you for joining us. This week we thought we're just going to give a bit of information on all the animals that we've got here. A bit of information on how we have to go through everything every day, clean everybody out, what our responsibilities are. And coming off that and a phone call that I had the other day about a so-called rescue that had been shut down for neglecting animals, we've thought about should rescues be licensed, and if they are, what kind of licenses would you like to see? What kind of stuff do you want to be regulated when it comes to the animals? Where they go, how they come in, how many weeks of quarantine do you think it should be required? Because some rescues get an animal in and then literally 3 days later it'll be adopted out again. So let us know what you think in the comments.
Hey guys, so this is Louis, our Asian water monitor. Now, on the same case as do you think rescues should be licensed and regulated, do you think for big animals people should have a license like the DWA for venomous snakes and things like that? So things like reticulated pythons or Asian water monitors, because these guys can get to like 10 foot, so they get huge. Do you think licenses should be put in place? I mean, when he gets to 10 foot, he could do some serious damage, can't you? Eh? I mean, especially if he's got the tail, he's got that bite. So there's a lot of things that he can do to cause trouble. Yeah, I've done it.
Right, so carrying on with the licenses. Personally, my view is that I think we should be licensed. I think every rescue, whether you're doing it from a home or a commercial property or whatever, yes, I do think we should be licensed. The problem I think with it, well, a couple of the problems. The first one is financial. I mean, we're under enough strain as it is. For example, Christine come in maybe later last year. She'd had a tail amputated because of tail rot. And from the first night that we had her, she was having very severe seizures. She was straight at the vet the next day and put on medication. And she had to be on this medication for a while to stop her from seizuring. So, and that was an unexpected bill, and you have to find the finances to cover them bills. You've got your rent, your food for your animals, your electric, which is through the roof as it is, our insurance that we pay every month. So yes, I do think we should be licensed, but I think it should be affordable, because I've looked at some of the licenses and how much they cost, and I think a lot of rescues who's funded like we are, which is just on donations and selling products, it's going to be tough if the licenses do cost a lot of money. My other issue is who's going to give the licenses. We have been checked by the council, but really the council, the people that come around here had little to no experience with exotic animals. So yes, okay, we've been checked and cleared with the council, but they didn't even know what they was really looking for anyway. So to me, it should be experienced people. You've got to find them people as well, and pay them to come round and basically say if you're looking after your animals or not. Whether they're getting neglected or whether they're getting the care that they should. If animals are coming in, they need to be taken to the vet. They need to be taken to the vet that day, not just left in a viv until you can afford it. If they need to go to the vet, they need to go to the vet, that's it. But like I say, all these bills do mount up. So yes, I do think we should be licensed, but I think it should be more affordable than what the licenses are at the moment.
So yes, I also agree that there should be some licenses. Now I think that for a number of reasons. And number one, you see a lot of pop-up rescues, and I say pop-up because they don't tend to be around very long. And what they tend to do is they'll take in animals because they do love them, but then they tend to only take in the healthy ones. When they get a poorly one, it either ends up at a different rescue because they're not sure how to treat it, or they don't have the money for the vet bills. So if you're going to get regulated, do you think there should be proof of a stash of money somewhere ready for vet bills? Because that's when people are opening rescues, they don't understand how expensive vet bills can be. I mean, we've had them sometimes as high as like £2,000, and it really depends. For example, the Chinese water dragon that needed the facial reconstructive surgery. Luckily, we haven't had to do it because we managed to keep it clean. But if that happens, do you know what I mean? We're talking £2-3 grand just for him. So should there be an account set up where there's just money for vets? Because that's the whole point of having a rescue, is so the animals get the help they need. And vets is a massive, massive part of that. Although some vets are really good and they do give a bit of a discount when they know that you're a rescue, but you probably have to be a little bit more well known than when you just start up. Also, it'll help with animal flipping, because like I say, some rescues are taking healthy ones, keep them for a couple of days, put them straight up, and they have a price on. Now, unless you've got the AAL license, pet shop license, you're not actually allowed to ask for a donation. Well, you're allowed to say it's a donation, but you're not allowed to put a set amount. You're not allowed to put a price on an animal or anything like that. But you see a lot of rescues do put a price on their animals, and they'll turn around and say, this bearded dragon's £50 as an adoption fee. Now, without the right licenses, you shouldn't do that. And we don't. For all our animals, it is just a donation to the rescue, so we don't have a pet shop license. We don't, in fact, we have really no licensing, and that's why we feel like this is quite an important subject, because yes, we have a rescue, and yes, it might put some more financial strain on us, but we think we should be licensed and regulated, as long as it's by someone professional who knows what they're doing. And it's because in the long run, it will help stop these pop-up rescues. Not all of them, some of them are really good, but you do get the occasional bad ones. But yeah, in this opinion, Sambo are really cute.
Right, so another thing I think as well is that anybody that opens a animal rescue, which takes in animals that need that extra bit of special care, I think they should have or be able to prove some sort of experience and basic knowledge in the animals that they're looking after. So when me and Gaz started this rescue 5-6 years ago now, Gaz had been looking after reptiles for, what was it, 10-15 years?
Something like that. Yeah.
I've been looking after reptiles for probably about 20 years now. So between us, we have a fair bit of knowledge. We also obviously do axolotls and everything as well. Gaz knows more about the reptiles than I do, a hell of a lot more. We're definitely not experts, definitely don't know everything. And everything is changing as well. New research coming out and everything else. So yeah, I think another thing as well is that anybody that opens a rescue, you're not just going to get the healthy animals in. You are going to get the ones that need extra care, like Christine that I showed you earlier. Hebo, my little man here, so he come in with pretty bad nose rub. He's lost a lot of scales, bless him, in the front of his face. And we've managed to not have to do reconstructive surgery on him because we've managed to keep it clean. But stuff like that, you're going to need a little bit more experience than just 6 months of owning, a reptile. So another thing I think is that anybody that opens a reptile, any sort of rescue, needs to have the very minimum knowledge on how to look after the animals, how to give the first aid care, and be able to get them to a vet if need be. He looks at me like he's going to bite me.
He wants a kiss.
I'm not giving you a kiss. No. So yeah, definitely. Anybody that owns a rescue, looks after, runs a rescue or whatever, needs to have absolute minimum experience of a few years with these animals, know how to look after them, and know how to look after them if they get poorly. Because we get a lot of poorly ones in, don't we?
So another thing I think is really important is networking. So the species that we get in, they're going to be different. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of different species of lizard, of snake, absolutely loads. And you might not know the care on that certain species. That doesn't mean to say that you can't look after it. So we have like a rescue group chat and stuff. So if anyone needs any questions, we put it on there, and do you know what I mean? There's someone bound to know. But also constantly doing research. As Tara said earlier, we don't class ourselves as experts. We know a little about a lot, but by nowhere means are we experts. But what we do is we research still daily on different things and up-to-date information. So do you think to be licensed and regulated as a rescue, you should be able to prove that you're part of a network that has the experience to help with a different variety of animals? Because looking after a corn snake or looking after an Amazon tree boa or a reticulated python, it's all different. So I think that should be something that's also very important. But you need to let us know as well what you think should be licensed and regulated. As Tara said before, quarantine periods, should there be a minimum set term? We do it for 4 weeks, longer if there's something that's wrong. Do you think it should be longer than that or shorter than that? As we said with Louis, do you think rubs and stuff should not be used? Do you think even rescues should have used the minimum size enclosure? Us personally, we don't like rubs, we don't use rubs. Mainly because of the science as well behind the UVB and the heat. So as you can see, even our boas, they have UVB. So yeah, we don't use rubs. I think our minimum enclosure, our smallest enclosure here, is actually a 4B18, B18, minus the Exoterras, but we don't use them for snakes and stuff. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you think.
So I think that's enough for this week's video. This is our little female Rankin Dragon. She's absolutely gorgeous. Has settled in really, really well. So yeah, that's it for this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe our page. You have no idea how grateful we are for everyone's support. It's absolutely fantastic. It really does make it worth doing when, you know, we have our bad days here, which we do. But to cheer us up, and it was my idea, so I'm really happy about this one, Gaz and a few of her friends, students, whoever else is going to get involved, is going to do a bush tucker trial. And I get to choose the foods. I could also like your help on this one. So yeah, we're going to do a bush tucker trial. We're going to all congregate here one night in the next few weeks at some point, as soon as we get it all sorted out. I'm thinking fish eyes, crickets, Morio worms, whatever disgusting you can think of that I can make my husband eat. And I don't have to eat it, I get to watch him eat it. Please put it in the comments, because I really do need some help, and this might be the only opportunity I get to make him do something like this. So yeah, everything in the comments, what you think about licenses, what gross stuff I can get my husband to put in his mouth. Any comments, gratefully received, and hopefully we'll see you back here next week.